Good morning and welcome. Greetings, fellow oxygen breathers. It is I, the OGGM, asking you once again to take a moment to subscribe. It's the 29th day of June 2022. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. It's 64 degrees and sort of cloudy, hazy, the weather that can only happen in places like where I live. Where do I live? I don't know. You tell me. It's time to take a look at what might be on the shelves at your friendly local game store by the end of this week. As always, please, before you go rushing over to your friendly local game store to see if what I'm talking about is in product, make sure they actually have it in stock because, the shipping thing is still a thing. And it's going to be a thing for a long time. So that is why I always preface these videos with, don't get upset if they don't have it. Just understand it's out there, it's in process, but the world. Okay. We don't have a lot this week, so yeah. We've got some stuff from James Misher Games for, of all things, Labyrinth Lords. We've got a whole bunch of books, whole bunch of quick start books, running about $10 each. We've got something called Barbarian Demigod Dragonborn. We've also got something called the Quick Start Race and Class Guide for Labyrinth Lord. We've got the Hycerian Grimoire. I guess that's the name of the world that Labyrinth Lord takes place in. We've got a book called Ghosts. We've got Mike Rider, Ogres, and Vampires for Labyrinth Lord. All these are from James Misher's Games. All these are Labyrinth Lords. They also come with stats if you want to use them for Castles and Crusades, which means basically AD&D, OSR. So basically, this is just OSR stuff. It's a lot of new, races and classes and rules for Labyrinth Lord, which is an OSR D&D retro clone, and Castles and Crusades, which is the ultimate original OSR retro clone. And of course, as we know, the last thing Gary Gygax worked on before he passed away, and the thing that Gary Gygax said was closest to what he wanted D&D/AD&D to be. So again, if you're really trying to live Gary Gygax's legacy, you probably shouldn't be playing 5th edition, a game he had nothing to do with because he was dead in 2008, and we didn't even start working on D&D 5th edition to 2013, early 2012. I had the playtest stuff in my hands 2013, so yeah. So there you go. Basically, if you want to play what Gygax wrote, play Castles and Crusades. Let's check out the quick start thing. How much is that going to cost? Because it's always nice to get cheap rules for a game. So for $8 plus shipping, you can get the quick start rules for Labyrinth Lord. That might be worth it if you don't already have them. Moving on. Whoa, we got a bunch of stuff from Exalted Funeral. Exalted Funeral is really, kicks it out of the park when they actually do present stuff. So we got a whole bunch of OSR stuff and things from Exalted Funeral. Exalted Funeral is a printing company. They do lots of stuff with lots of different people. Most of it is for OSR related type stuff. These are all a bunch of supplements running about $15 each. We have Below Dwelling Sewer Mutants, a standalone games where you are mutants living in a sewer. A friend of mine wrote a game like that years ago. I wonder if it's the same guy. We've got The Frozen Temple of Glacier Peak. It's a Nordic folklore-inspired dungeon. We've got Bloom, which is a horror adventure. We've got The Desiccated Temple of Locke, which is a low-level adventure exploring some ruins. We've got something called Craftwork, which presents you with an alternate system for character generation for OSR-type games. We've got a standalone game called Rocket Derby Space Operas, where you are players in Rocket Derby leagues in the future, and you compete in Rocket Derby games, and then, of course, have to deal with other teams and the politics and stuff like that. We've got a 2-player storytelling game called Rivals, which is basically rock, paper, and scissors with rules. I don't really see the need for those, but some people do. We've got Rune Crane, which is a low-level adventure for the OSR. We've got Wander Saga, which is a dungeon crawl type campaign. So if you're looking for a new OSR type thing. A lot of these seem to be Norse mythology inspired. We have something called I Bury the Gods, which is a game of dark fantasy where you are out, I guess, trying to deal with crazy gods. Isn't that the theme of Thor, Love, and Thunder? So I guess perfect timing for that. These are all old school essentials, AD&D style retro clone adventures. They're all running about $10. You could probably get them at your friendly local game store. They're more than likely, you should probably order them directly from Exalted Funeral. From Post-Human Studios, we have a condensed player's guide for Eclipse phase. This is a soft cover supplement. Includes the setting, introduction, character creation rules, basic resolution of combat, and other stuff. Where you play player characters exploring a post-apocalyptic space. Isn't Eclipse phase 5e? This is the third printing. You can get the for $20. No, it's a percentile system. I thought Eclipse phase was 5e. Maybe I'm thinking of a different game. So if you're looking for a percentile-based, post-human, post-apocalypse space game, the condensed rules from Post-Human Studios is available for $25. $25 is not a condensed rules, buddy. That's a rule set. And wow, that's it. That is all. Oh no, wait. We have the Dungeon Delver's Guide coming from Advanced 5e level up. We talked about this before. That's available now. We have Talisman Adventures, Tales of the Dungeon. That is an expansion for the Talisman Adventures role-playing game, which is based, of course, upon Talisman, the board game. And, then we have the $400 Dragon Head lamp. All these should be available at your friendly local game store, or at least you can have your friendly local game store special order them. If it's something obscure like the Exalted Funeral stuff, you might just want to contact Exalted Funeral directly. If you need links to any of these, let me know and I'll post them. Otherwise, most of these you can find on your own. Just do a search. Yeah, wow, that's it. A slow week. Why? Why is it a slow week for ship? Well, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why it could be a slow week for shipping. Con season is just beginning. Award season is just beginning. So, we're probably going to see a slowdown of production as they focus on their cornerstone products that they think are really going to be their big sellers coming out of the summer and going into, Q4 and Christmas and the big money, Am I going to get a lot of money for a game about, radioactive mutant plants trying to get a job? Probably not. So I'm probably not going to focus as much attention on that game as I am on the game, that I think is going to make me that money coming out of the end of con season and going into the Christmas holiday shopping season, Though, of course, I could be wrong. There might be a huge market for a game where I play radioactive mutant plants trying to get a job. Does anybody want to play a game where you're radioactive mutant plants trying to get a job? I'll run it. Till next time, I've been the OGGM. If you appreciate the nonsense that's coming out of my mouth, let me know if you're feeling generous. My birthday is coming up, so consider subscribing and helping me reach that 1,000 sub mark that I've been trying to get. My tabletop role-playing game of the week that I read of these, these really stand out. But I'd pick up the quick start guides if they're, like this Labyrinth Lord quick start guide. If it was reasonably priced, I'd pick it out, just because I don't have it. On the other hand, do I really want a quick start guide for a game I'm never going to play? Which is always, the thing I consider. If you're a complete-ish and you just want these because you want them and you have that kind of money, great. Fill up your bookcase with as many obscure role-playing games as you can. Support those people. Till next time, support me. Talk to you soon.